If you have a weak stomach, I suggest you look away now, because you're about to witness something truly sickening. In a display more repugnant and diabolical than the Charles Manson murders and the Holocaust combined. Interested? You should be. What's up guys, it's Average Ol making average content for the average viewer. So as we have all settled into the launch of Modern Warfare, a number of playstyles and metas have come to fruition. That being that people seem to be really enjoying getting out their trusty M4A1 and finding a nice cozy building, pitching up their tent and reliving their youth by playing an extremely violent version of Sleeping Lions. And yeah, I'm really enjoying this game, but it is becoming quite apparent that camping is a little bit of an issue. Now, there are a few reasons for this, of course, and I'll go over them right now. For one, the map design is no longer a linear style of 3 lanes, and instead, we have been given maps that are a lot more spread out with a load more verticality to them. This in itself might not be an issue, as after a while you would learn where the campers are likely to be and then sneak up on them and crush them into the ground before promptly dragging your sweaty virtual balls all across their face. However, the problem is that even crouch walking around the map is louder than a white trash fat woman telling her son with tram lines in his hair off because he's spitting on the other children in the estate. This means that the camper is always going to have an advantage because even a cheap pair of headphones means that they can hear you coming. So after being killed more times than I care to admit by these cretins, I thought, hey, how hard can it be? If you can't beat them, then join them. So, how do you camp in Modern Warfare? Well, firstly, there are a couple of things you're going to want to do in real life first. First of all, if you're a bloke, which actually 100% of my viewers are, you're going to want to do that thing that the paratroopers did in World War II and pop your balls right back up inside you. This will ensure that you'll be too much of a pussy to even want to rush out and take a gunfight head to head with the enemy. Now next, you're going to want to find a large phallic item such as a cucumber, or if you're already an experienced camper, then a butternut squash should do the trick. Now all you need is some chamomile tea and James Blunt's Back to Bedlam album on repeat, and you're well on your way to being a camper. Now, in terms of your loadout, you're going to want to choose a gun that is both accurate and powerful. There are a few options, but let's be real here. You're going to want to choose a silenced M4A1 that is kitted out to have no recoil. But don't worry, there's no need to worry about your mobility or ADS speed because you're going to be able to hear where your enemies are coming from and just wait there, pre-aiming the door, waiting for him to rush through and get sent back to the spawn quicker than you can say camping is a viable tactic. Okay, so now you're all set up and you found a lovely warm building to call your home. Now if you're a semi-competent player, the temptation is to peek a window that's overlooking an objective or maybe push on a bit to cover your team's advance. But you wanted to know how to be a camper, right? So the most important thing that you need to remember is winning the game is neither here nor there. The sole aim for you is to increase your kill-death ratio as quickly as possible and make as many people smash their controllers up as possible, because remember, the game is only fun for you if you can be sure that you are ruining it for someone else. Now this should get you so far, but occasionally you'll get some smart-ass dickhead who thinks he has the right to come and kill you. Now, you could rely on your gun skill to take them out fairly, but there really is no point in trying to perfect that or even practice it. So what I would suggest is equipping the shrapnel perk and some claymores. This means you have 2 claymores to place down at your flanks, meaning you don't even have to think about them and you can just stay dead still for the 10 minutes or so that the match takes, just aiming at one door. I should mention that if you are using the resupply field upgrade, you can replenish your spent claymores, making your room harder to penetrate than a nun's chastity belt. Now, the only thing left to remember is that after the game and your team has lost, you can get on the game chat and talk loads of trash to the other team. They will say things to you like, you were all camping, that's why you lost, what's the point in playing like that? And if you hear even a hint of anger in their voice, well then actually, that means that you've won the real war here. Also, another bonus to this playstyle is that after a good week or so of exclusively camping, there is a rumour that you will actually be able to grow your virginity back, which is cool, I guess. Before we go on, I'd just like to see if we can go for 30 likes on this video today. My goal has been 69, but it's proved to be a bit out of reach, so we'll aim lower. Because if you have low goals in life, you'll be disappointed less. You can jot that one down. Also, if you're new around here, I would be thrilled if you'd subscribe. I'm very close to 600 subs, so it would be great to hit that milestone. Now, obviously this is all a bit of a joke. I'm not actually bagging on campers. Everyone has dropped a considerable amount of money on this game, and as such, you are more than entitled to play the game how you want. That being said, I just want to talk about some of the things that I would like to see patched in the game to help eliminate some of these issues to a certain extent. Now, number one would have to be the volume of the footsteps. I've said it once and I'll say it again. If your footsteps didn't sound like a 12-bore shotgun going off every 3 seconds, then not only would campers be less likely to hear you, but ultimately people would feel a lot more comfortable actually moving and running around, meaning that there would be less campers in the first place, and it would be much easier to take out the people who are too set in their ways to stop camping. Another thing is, we need to talk about claymores. I have triggered more claymores than Piers Morgan has triggered SJWs. Like honestly, why the fuck are they everywhere? Maps tend to be filled with more claymores than fucking players at this point, and to be honest, as much as I love this game, it's starting to wear a bit thin. It would be fine if they could be countered at all. Remember in World at War, we had bouncing Bettys, and you could quickly go prone to avoid being killed by them. That would be such a better system, adding some sort of delay to setting them off. Obviously that wouldn't work so well with the actual logistics of what a claymore is, but something where you could just jump over them or slide past them really wouldn't go amiss. On top of this, I really think that they should limit how many claymores a player can have active at once. Like one should be enough, shouldn't it? One player shouldn't be able to block off every entrance to a building whilst looking out of a window on their own. I think this is something that would really help the meta and would make the game 10 times more enjoyable. And secondly, there needs to be a bit more incentive to actually move in the first place. Because at the moment, because of the way kill streaks work, you are much more likely to camp in one spot for the last couple of kills that you need than actually run out and capture the objective. And this means that in bigger maps like the 20v20 modes, a lot of the time one team is pushed right back into their spawn because half of their team are posted up in bloody buildings, not willing to move. And this brings me on nicely to my final point, and that is spawns. In the Call of Duties of the past, it would only take a couple of players to move into the enemy spawn area for it to cause the game to flip the spawns completely. This means that one team can't just camp the enemy spawn and kill them before they have even had chance to chamber around. Whereas in Modern Warfare, you need the whole team to push into the spawn area to force this flip, which allows people to post up outside of the spawn and pick people off without giving them a chance. And that sucks, and it needs to be changed. Now, before I finish, I do want to point out that I am in no way saying that I am unhappy with this game, and I think that if something is done in the areas that I have outlined, then the game will be much more enjoyable on the whole. Not that anyone of any significance to do with Infinity Ward is going to watch this little average video, but I think it's good to start as many conversations about this as possible. I would highly recommend that if you want to see these changes implemented, you need to advocate for this change. Take to Twitter and Reddit and tell the devs exactly what we want. If enough people are saying it, then they will change it. Just remember that they are people too, so do it in a respectful and polite way, because no matter how poignant your case is, if you're being a dickhead, people will just think you're a dickhead. Anyway, that's it from me today. Please like and comment your thoughts on the camping issue down below. And if you're still watching this at the end, I want you to comment your favourite game of all time below so I know who made it to the end. That's it for today. I'm Average Joel. Peace.